First, I want to apologize for calling you for this special session because I know you've been bonding with your members, your voters. We are truly sorry for calling you on short notice, and I want to welcome you this afternoon for the sitting. As per the notice that was issued by the clerk on 26th June 2024, the purpose of this sitting is for reconsideration of the Appropriation Bill 2024, which was initially passed by this House on 16th May 2024, and it was transmitted to the President on 31st May 2024, but it was returned by His Excellency the President on 22nd June 2024, and that is pursuant to Article 91(3)(c) of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda. The return of the bill was within the 30 days, as prescribed by Article 91(3) of the Constitution. Honorable members, Article 91(6) of the Constitution enjoins the House to reconsider a bill which His Excellency returns. And I want to tell this House, this bill is just like any other bill that has always been returned. Therefore, pursuant to Article 143(1) of the Rules of Procedure, I'll read the President's letter, which is returning the bill, and I'll read it verbatim. You have something? I thought I was reading the letter.
Madam Speaker, Rule 9 of our Rules of Procedure is on seating arrangement in the House. Specifically, rule...
There is an order.
Against procedure. Maybe from a new MP. Madam Speaker, Rule 9(3) is couched in mandatory terms. The seats to the left hand of the Speaker shall be reserved for the Leader of the Opposition and members of the opposition party or parties in the House. Madam Speaker, this rule is couched in mandatory terms. These NRM people who are squeezing us, let them stand there. Because the rule said so.
Honorable Member.
The rule is to, I am drawing the attention of the Speaker to the rule. It cannot be Parliament chorusing in ruling, otherwise that will be a market.
Thank you. Honorable Member, I respect Rule 9 that you've just read, but as a Speaker of the House, when you look at Rule 9(5), the Speaker shall ensure that each Member of Parliament is comfortable in the House. Is comfortable, and that's why I said free sitting. Honorable members, when we're in this house, we are brothers and sisters. Let's just make sure that we are comfortable. We are comfortable, and let's sit wherever you can. No, it is only free sitting, please.
I agree with you. But what is painful is members sitting next to us and they turn against us. on serious matters. So keep with our side. The way you want UPDF to, we should share their votes whenever we are voting. 5 UPDF on opposition, 5 UPDF on NRM, and then we move on.
You're already debating
But they
on
turn against us
emancipation.
and they go panchuriam.
You're debating on anticipation. Honorable members, as I said, I'm going to read the President's letter. The letter is addressed to the Speaker of Parliament, the Right Honorable Speaker, Parliament of Uganda, Kampala, dated 22nd June 2024. Reference is budget reallocation by Parliament. The recent case of the members of Parliament that were arrested for some alleged offenses has again highlighted the mistake that the members of Parliament interfering with the constitutional mandate of the President of budgeting for the country by reallocating monies budgeted for the core sectors of the economy. In the last 4 financial years, the members of Parliament have been reallocated a total of Uganda shillings 3.7 trillion. This is a real sabotage. When we reconstructed Kampala Masaka Road, we used Uganda shillings 440 billion. Therefore, diverting the 3.1 trillion in 4 years is equivalent to aborting 9 big roads of the Kampala Masaka type, or a much larger number of smaller roads. You know very well the important roads that we have been struggling with. You have seen how much the Tirinyi-Palisa-Kumi road has helped the people of the area by avoiding the need to pass through Mbale City when they are traveling to Soroti. You have seen how the Musita, Mayuge, Namayingo, Busia Road has helped the people of that area. You have seen how the Mukono, Katosi, Nkokonjero, Nyenga Road has helped the people of that area. Yet, for the Tirinyi-Palisa-Kumi Road, we used Uganda shillings 443.42 billion only. How much more happy would you have the Ugandans be if you have tarmacked the Kumi, Ngora, Serere, Bugondo Road, the Soroti, Amuria, Achanpi, Patong, Abim Road, the Kanoni, Michana Road, the Nyansi, Kasanda, Bukunyu, Kivoga Road, the Sembabule, Liantonde, Rakai Road, the Luero, Butalangwa, Ngoma, Masindi Road, the Nsinka, Nyakabirizi Road, the Nakivale Rakai Road, the Fort Portal, Kijura Road, etc. I have written this issue. See my letter dated 28th April 2020. The Attorney General has guided on the matter. The court have guided, yet the practice goes on. There are 3 mistakes involved here. These are indiscipline in budgeting, sabotaging the national priorities, and now the suspicion of massive corruption. I am therefore writing to request that this practice stops accordingly. As per Article 91(3)(c) of the Constitution of 1995, I decline to assent to Appropriation Bill 2024 and return it to Parliament, and request that no reshuffling of the budget should ever happen again without an input of the executive. Apart from the legality and constitutionality of the issues involved, there is common sense. Sprinkling money by MPs to get cheap popularity in their constituencies will make us to lose the focus on the core items. How can patriots be part of these mistakes? Signed by the President, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. Honorable members, that is a letter which is returning the bill. Honorable members, Honorable Leon. Honorable members, as you are aware, Rule 143(2) of the Rules of Procedure of Parliament requires that I refer the returned bill to the relevant committee, which in this case is the Budget Committee. However, the Budget Committee is not yet fully constituted because not all sectoral committees have their leadership in place. As you may recall, the sectoral committee chairpersons are ex-officials of members of Budget Committee as provided for under Rule 173(2) of the Rules of Procedure. Yes, procedure?
Right Honourable Speaker, and honourable colleagues, you have just made and the letter for the return of the bill that you have read, I wish to seek for your guidance as the custodian of the rules of procedure, and while seeking for this guidance, I wish to read Rule 143 Sub-Rule 2 together with Rule 2 under interpretation that defines a committee. Right Honourable Speaker, Rule 143(2) reads, "The Speaker shall refer the bill to the relevant committee, and the committee shall consider the request of the President and report to the House within 2 weeks." Under Rule 2, a committee, Right Honourable Speaker, means a committee of the whole House,
Is on procedure.
a standing committee, a sectoral committee,
Is on procedure.
a select committee, an ad hoc committee, or any other committee of Parliament. Right Honourable Speaker, you have stated that under Rule 143(2), you may be under obligation to refer it to the Parliamentary Committee on Budget. And yet under Rule 2, The scope in terms of definition of a committee is wider, indicating means a committee of the whole house, a standing committee, a sectoral committee, a select committee. Right Honorable Speaker, wouldn't it be procedurally right for you to invoke your powers and this House constitutes itself into a committee of the whole House under Rule 2 of the Rules of Procedure of this Parliament?
As I was still communicating, honorable members, Council, you have nowhere to sit? Honorable members, honorable members, honorable members, please give Council where to sit. Honorable members, can we have some silence? Pius, get out of there. You are not a minister. Honorable members, can I have some silence? Can I have silence? Honorable members, I will still supposed to send the report, the returned bill to the committee. And the relevant committee that I'm supposed to send the bill is the Committee of Budget. And as I said before, that the Budget Committee is not well constituted. And why is it not well constituted? Because we do not have other chairpersons, about 18 chairpersons. We do not have the chairpersons, and I think that is the spirit that the government chief whip came up with, that instead of going to the committee, can we handle it as a committee of the whole House? Honorable Dur, Constitutional Affairs.
Honorable Speaker, you are right, but I must add that the strongest justification for not sending this bill to the Budget Committee is that there is a very serious allegation of grave corruption against the Budget Committee. And the wording of that letter by the President that specifically mentions allegations of corruption, and he's not doing it for the first time. When he came to pay tribute to the late Cecilia, he accused Parliament, in your presence, that the Parliament is corrupt. When we went for State of Nation, he said that. On Budget Day, he said that. And in the letter, the accusation is against all members of the Budget Committee. I would feel extremely uncomfortable that this reference is made to the Budget Committee. I support that the Committee of the whole House, and we are here seated, can actually process the matter.
Thank you. Seconded by Okwalinga, by Aroboy, by Alion, by the Vice President of Uganda, Prime Minister, Deputy Security, by the whole front desk. Thank you. Honorable members, I now put a question that the appropriation bill, as returned by His Excellency the President, be referred to the Committee of the whole House. Those in favor say the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
Madam Speaker, I have two procedural issues. Is that the government chief whip did not move a motion. He actually rose on procedure and he was seeking guidance. That is the first procedural issue I am seeking for your intervention. The second one, I disagree with my Minister for Justice that the whole of the budget committee is actually accused of corruption. I sit on that budget committee. I have never asked or even signed the major report.
Honorable members, can I reread the letter?
Yes.
First of all, the issue of moving a motion is basically a prayer that somebody seeks for the House to take a decision. And he had his prayer, which has been put to a vote, and it has been accepted. So it passes. You want the letter to be reread? First of all, honorable members, we cannot say that our members are corrupt. We cannot, even if some of our members have been arrested and they're in prison, there is a presumption of innocence. Honorable members, can you shut up? Please. There is a presumption of innocence. You cannot say somebody is a thief. How many members are in a budget committee? How many are you? Eh? Chairman, how many members? There are 65 members in the budget committee. No, we want a clarification from the clarification.
This is a house of record.
Sechi.
This is a house of record.
Sech.
I want to clarify as follows. I was present when the head of state came to pay his tribute to the late Cecilia Ogwal. And in his speech, he said it, Madam Speaker, you were there. The president accused this parliament of being corrupt. When we were in Kololo, it was mentioned. In this letter, the president has written the word corruption and said with allegation. It is in this letter. It is also factual.
Thank you. Honorable members, let's give people time.
Just the justification that I had for supporting that the committee of the whole house was based on one, the reallocations being contested by the president was done by the budget committee and brought to this house. And the house adopted it. So it means the budget committee already did their part. This house can then sit. This house can sit and therefore take a decision on a case-by-case basis on the matters raised by the president.
Thank you.
Thank you. Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker. I have a proposal.
Honorable members,
Right.
honorable members, if the statement of corruption hurt anybody, that one we must.
Thank you. Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker and honourable colleagues. This matter, Right Honourable Speaker, the matter is before us.
Whether we do ping pong on who is corrupt and who is not, the matter is before us. When the budget committee brings the report, it is approved by the whole house. Whether you want to pretend that you are not touched or not, you are part of this parliament. It is my view, therefore, Referral Speaker, that we restrict ourselves to either reconsideration or rejection of this matter, and we pass it and move. The rest is grasshopper mentality. You are in one bottle, just biting each other for no reason. That is my
Speaker.
Isaiah.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker and members. Budget Committee did its work. This Parliament passed it. I could be more comfortable, Right Honourable Speaker, if we compared and what was sent to the President for consenting. As long as we first know what we passed, maybe you never know along the way. You never know along the way.
Honourable members.
Madam Speaker.
Honourable members.
Madam.
Honourable members, when a bill is passed in this house, it goes to the legal team to refine it and send it for assent. The bill that was sent to the President is what was passed in this house. We want to get a confirmation from the Minister of Finance. Was the bill which was passed in this house, is that what was received by the President?
Madam Speaker, I wish to confirm that the bill which Parliament passed on 16th of May 2024 is the same bill that was sent to the President for assent.
Thank you.
And here with me is the copy which I can lay.
Thank you. Aisha. Atikins.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker.
Susan.
I have two issues, Right Honourable Speaker. First, Speaker, you earlier that the front bench will always be designated for the ministers. Right Honourable Speaker, our side people do not have where to sit. It is full by NRM officers, and they are seated very uncomfortably, one sitting on another. I request that you'll ask the NRM backbenchers to leave the front bench of the opposition. That's one. Number two, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, listening to the President's letter, actually, the President's letter blames corruption on the whole House. I even doubt whether at this time we have the moral authority to discuss what the President sent back to us after he has accused us, all of us, of being corrupt. Number two, when you listen to the President's letter, there are serious legal issues he speaks to. In a way, he wants his bill, the statutory bill that came to us, to pass as he brings it. Does Parliament have any mandate to appropriate, according to him? According to that letter, the President says we do not have mandate to tamper with his budget the way he brings to us. We honestly need legal interpretation, whether mandate to appropriate. And if the House has mandate to appropriate, then what is the form of appropriation that Parliament should do or can do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Procedure, Right Honorable
Thank
Speaker.
you. Honorable members, Parliament, and nobody will take it away from us. Right Honorable Speaker, and honorable colleagues, I need your Prime Minister. Right Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues, I want to request to appreciate that the President respects this House. That's why he sent back this bill for reconsideration. If he was not respecting us, he has other options. He can warrant, but he went aside. He decided to bring back this bill because he respects this House. Can I request, Right Honorable Speaker, that you allow the Attorney General to come in at this time so that he can guide us?
Procedure.
Odria.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I want to thank you for the opportunity. Right Honorable Speaker, the issue of corruption in this Parliament has gone beyond borders. Right Honorable Speaker, we have lost trust in the Budget Committee. That is why I think the President has written to you, so that this House can be given opportunity to scrutinize the budget in relation to his rejections for reallocation. Madam Speaker, the procedural matter I want to raise is, you already made a ruling on this matter, that let the House debate and let the House go for the reallocation. You have ruled, Madam Speaker. Are we moving well procedurally on a matter that you have ruled on?
Thank you. Rule 222. Rule 222. The House has already made a decision. The House has already made a decision. Can I now have the minister?
Item 3, motion for reconsideration of the Appropriation Bill 2024
Procedure, Honorable
as
Speaker.
returned by His Excellency the President in accordance with Article 91(3)(c) of the Constitution and Rule 143 of the Rules of Procedure.
Procedure, Right Honorable Speaker.
You wait, let him move a motion, and you will bring all of that when we are in the committee of the whole House.
Procedure, Right Honorable Speaker. Procedure, Right Honorable Speaker. I thank you for correcting the anomaly where you've referred now for a formal motion to be moved by the Minister of Finance. Since this is an appropriation bill, it couldn't have been moved by the government chief whip when the minister is here. That one, I thank you. But number 2, Right Honorable Speaker.
The other one was different. Very different.
My implication is for you to pick the cue from that. I was just tickling you to pick a cue from that. I was giving you the beef from you.
Go say it, stop tickling me.
Right Honorable Speaker, this is not a normal reconsideration of the bill. For almost a quarter of a century, I've been to this House. Almost a quarter of a century I've been to this House. I'm going to make a quarter of a century. This has never been, this is quite unprecedented. And I would have requested, Right Honorable Speaker, to allow the House to interrogate the circumstances under which the budget speech already made to the Ugandans
well received by the country, and now the president is referring back the bill to this parliament for reconsideration. Does it mean that the president reads the budget without assigning or assenting to it? And that is one dilemma. The second dilemma, right, Honorable Speaker, I have. As parliament will look bad. Who caused this? We want to know. Don't blame all of us to this. Who caused all this? Let us know, let us interrogate who tampered for selfish reasons the budget of the country. If you talk about 3.1 trillion, 3.1 trillion in 4 years, this is huge amounts of money, right? It isn't a normal reconsideration. Bad motive has been imputed on this house, and the president cannot speak in vain. It means he has evidence.
Can we first constitute the house into a committee of the whole house?
But
then
usually,
you talk.
Right, Honorable Speaker, let us first exhaust this, then we can go back knowing the reasons. And what are we moving from and where are we moving next? Where is the problem? Who did this? We must know who are the thieves, if they are thieves of 3.1 trillion. Yes, I'll take it. This is getting out of hand.
Honorable, you don't have to raise for me to hear you. I am saying, honorable members, Honorable Leon brought a very good suggestion. Avur, sit. Honorable members, we are saying we are going to have a committee of the whole house. And in that committee of the whole house, can I have silence? Can you first, Minister of Finance, move a motion and we go into a debate?
Honorable Speaker, before the motion, I would like to request the executive bill. We passed it and should have taken effect on 1st July. We are now into the financial year. Before we even move to consider, would the executive address us under what legal regime and what will happen now that we don't have a law in place? So that
AJ.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable colleagues, clearly stated the President has returned the Appropriations Bill under Article 91.3c. We are all aware that the financial year in Uganda starts on 1st July of every subsequent year. Before I direct myself exactly on the provisions of the law, Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable colleagues, it is indeed the constitutional mandate of Parliament to appropriate money against the proposals that have been made by the President in the budget estimates in accordance with Article 156. While we exercise this mandate, the approval of the budget must be done in comparison to the budget that is presented by the executive. That means this is a shared responsibility of both the executive and the Parliament. Honorable Chimosho did mention here that we were all in the House when this bill was passed. And this Parliament constitutes a front bench and a back bench. And therefore, we are collectively responsible for the decisions that were made in this House on that day. Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable colleagues, the decision for the President to return the bill is also founded in law. And the decision of the President to return the bill to this House is backed by both by Constitution and even our rules of procedure. And as such, we are not operating outside any provision of the law. While we do this appropriation, honorable colleagues and members, we need to look at we need to consider the priorities both of government and also the available resources. So, Right Honourable Speaker and Honourable colleagues, when the bill is brought back to Parliament, it should not be taken as an offensive act by the executive. Right Honourable Speaker and Honourable colleagues, the framers of this constitution were alive. The framers of this constitution were alive to the fact that there will come a day when July 1 comes to pass before the Appropriations Act is passed. In Article 154(4), the exercise of the executive authority by the President to issue a warrant can be done before 1st July or after. Honourable colleagues, we don't have a crisis. Government, there are sufficient legal mechanisms to ensure that government continues running. I want to implore your colleagues, let us all sit down and reconsider.
Counsel, you mean a warrant has been issued?
No, the warrant has not been issued, but what Honourable Dur was asking is what happens, and we are saying that we are well within our rights because the Constitution anticipated that we can deal with the Appropriations Act even after 1st July. There is no warrant current.
So in
both print and electronic media is awash with what the PSST opined about, especially when he raised this same issue of the warrant. And I would like to seek clarification from the Attorney General whether the President, as of now that we do not have an Appropriation Act in operation, whether he has already issued a warrant to issue funds from the consolidated fund until the expiry of 4 months, as stipulated in that Article 154, which you have ably quoted.
I can state with no fear of contradiction that the President has not issued a warrant under Article 154(4) of the Constitution. The President has chosen to take the path of coming back to the House so we can go through this budget and do this exercise.
Procedure, Honourable Speaker.
Satisfied that the Appropriation Act in respect of any financial year will not or has not come into operation by the beginning of the financial year, the President may, subject to the provisions of the article, authorize an issue of monies from the consolidated fund, and that is a warrant. Now, in the circumstance, today is 2nd, and that's why we say, because of the time, let's have this passed so that we do not bring in the issue of the warrant. We have the act passed, we have the bill passed, and then we have the act by it.
Procedure,
There's a motion.
The budget will be read in May, and it will be processed in May and read in June. The idea was that day one, under Section 13 of the Public Finance Management Act, that day one you issue authority to begin spending. I have seen ministers coming here. So who has fueled their vehicles? Under whose authority are they spending? So that's what you need to deal with, practically.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
I rose, and the procedure relates to the motion for the appropriation bill we passed was moved by a Minister of Finance who was acting on the delegated powers of the President, and it turned out in the President's letter that the executive had not been consulted. So as you move the motion, can you guarantee to this House that you are now moving after consulting the executive And what you are going to speak here represents the position of the executive, so that we do not do the same thing again. Thank you.
Procedure, Honorable Speaker, before the Minister.
Honorable members,
Honorable
the Vice President of Republic of Uganda is in the House, representing the President of Uganda. The Prime Minister is here, and they can confirm that the delegated powers
Right Honorable Speaker, Madam Speaker and colleagues, I rise to make a clarification on the issue that the Member of Parliament who had just spoken in that microphone.
Honorable Guzili.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker, for clarifying to me his correct name and constituency. But the idea here is that the matter before us is for all of us, because all of us are members of Parliament. I would like, Madam Speaker, to state that the way we are proceeding is extremely satisfactory, save for the threats which I'm receiving from the Honorable Panado. But in short, Madam Speaker,
we just want an
the
assurance.
motion which the Minister is going to present, Honorable Nganda, the motion which the Minister of Finance is going to present is a motion that is coming to this House in full view of the knowledge and also the satisfaction of His Excellency the President. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Right Honorable
Thank
Speaker.
you.
Right Honorable, she gave me a speak after the Vice President.
Honorable Batua, I did not give you to speak. Honorable Batua, switch off the microphone. James, sit. James, sit. James, sit. Let's get the motion. Let's get the motion. James, can you sit? No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
I proceed. Motion for a resolution of Parliament to reconsider the annual budget estimate.
You want. Amero, I'm going to give you next. Yes.
I restart again. Motion of a resolution of Parliament to reconsider the annual budget estimates for the financial 2024-25. And I'm moving under Article 191, Part 3, Part C, and 115 of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda, Section 13 of the Public Finance Management Act, Cap 171, and the Rules 143 and 149, Part 4, and 151 of the Rules of Procedure of this August House. Whereas, on the 28th March 2024, the Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, laid before Parliament for approval
the proposed annual budget estimates and work plans for the financial 2024-25. And whereas on the 16th May 2024, the Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development laid before Parliament for approval a corrigenda to the annual budget estimates. Aware that in accordance with Section 13, Part 1 of the Public Finance Act, of the Public Finance Management Act, and Rule 149, Part 4 of the Rules of Procedure of Parliament of Uganda, Parliament on 16th May 2024 considered and approved the annual budget estimates for the financial 2024/25. Noting that on the 16th May 2024, following the approval of the annual budget estimates for the financial 2024/25, amounting to shillings 72 trillion 136 billion 504 billion million 253,000. Parliament under Article 152 and 156 considered the appropriation bill 2024 authorizing the Treasury to issue out the consolidated fund and apply towards the supply granted to the government for the service of the year ending 30 June 2025. The sum being Uganda shillings 34 trillion 756 billion 338 million and 622,000. Recognizing that the Appropriation Bill 2024 was in accordance with Article 91(2) of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda, presented to His Excellency the President for assent, and the President, in accordance with Article 191, Part 2, Subsection C, refused to assent to the Appropriation Bill 2024 and returned the bill to this August House. Acknowledging that in his letter returning the bill, His Excellency the President expressed concern over reallocations made in the national budget of such a reallocation on altering government priorities, consequently causing a shift in government priorities. Madam Speaker.
Please go ahead.
Considering that where the President refuses to and returns it under Article Part 3 and C of the Constitution, Parliament may, in accordance with Article 91, Part 6 of the Constitution, reconsider the bill and return it to the President for assent. Further consideration that the national budget estimates contain both statutory expenditure and non-statutory expenditure, which then inform the contents of the appropriation bill and the reallocation in the national budget estimates for the financial year 2024-25 affected some votes under the statutory expenditure and some votes in the appropriation bill 2024. Aware that according to Article 156, Part 1 of our Constitution and Rule 152, Part 1 of the Rules of Procedure of our Parliament, the schedule to the appropriation bill must contain the allocations as appropriated by the committee. That votes under statutory expenditure affected by the reallocation are considered in the Committee of Supply, and the allocations are appropriated by the Committee of Supply are reflected in the schedule to the appropriation bill during its reconsideration. Now, therefore, be it resolved by this August House that the House resolves itself into the Committee of Supply to reconsider the schedule of the annual estimates for the financial year 2024-25 as attached to this motion in order to address the concerns raised by His Excellency the President. Madam Speaker and colleagues, I beg to move.
Yes. Seconded by Dr. Chen, by Helen, by Arrowboy, by the whole front bench, by Max, by Nora, by Kavuma. On this side, I am saying on the right hand side. Can you justify your motion? Justify it first.
Madam Speaker.
Can you justify your motion?
Madam Speaker, procedure. We don't want to ask for the seconders. Names must be mentioned.
I did.
And if our next official stands supporting the motion, it becomes null and void because there is no right of voting here. We have a lot of challenges we must fight, but this one, let us not allow it. So, names mentioned, I am not seconding the motion. If I remain seated, I am not supporting the motion.
Is the motion seconded? I have Kimosho, Orone, Ishagi, Ikojo, Sauda, Stephen Kangwaje, Tom Bright, Opolot, Ochwa, I have Ochwa, I have Rukari, I have Kinyamatama, Magogo, I have Sarah, I have Ayume, Sentai, Margaret, Isaac, Musei, Alioni, Komakech, Mpindi, Emmanuel, by the whole front bench, the whole army. Members, can we have a justification? Justification. Members, honorable members, can we have some silence? You leave alone.
Madam Speaker, Madam Speaker and the colleagues, please. I am begging for your ear so that we
Honorable members, listen.
do our business very seriously. The justification has been read within the motion. The justification
Honorable members, listen.
His Excellency the President returned the budget back to Parliament. Parliament, we must pass the budget, otherwise.
Honorable members, Honorable Minister.
Yes, ma'am.
Honorable Minister, first wait. Honorable members, can I have some silence? The bill has been returned to the House for reconsideration. And what the House is asking, Honorable Musa Asizi, and Attorney General, is give us the justification. Give us a justification as to why you're bringing this motion.
Madam Speaker and colleagues, don't forget I'm also a member of Parliament. The justification is within the motion.
Madam Speaker, it's painful to raise a point of order to a senior man like Honorable Matia Kasaija. Our rules are very clear. Once someone reads his motion, you seek for those supporting the motion. Then justification is within his own words. But he cannot come before this House and says that his motion and justifications are within the same motion. Someone who has been in the Parliament for over 30 years here, 40 years, and running finance, is it in order?
Thank you.
It would be prudent.
Honorable members,
Is there.
honorable members, let me simplification of the return is in the letter. That's the justification of the return.
Procedure.
Honorable members,
Procedure, Honorable Chair.
honorable members, I want us to debate. I want us to debate. I want us to debate the motion. Please sit. Sit and we debate the motion of the whole House to consider the motion. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it. But now,
That when you are in the chair, as Speaker, we can debate when you are in the chair as Speaker.
honorable members, debate the motion. It is a committee of the whole House to debate the motion.
Madam Chair, I would like to, when the bill is returned.
Honorable member.
Yes.
Honorable members, after this, we shall go for a committee of supply. And I don't want you to imagine we are having a committee of the whole House to debate the motion. And where you don't understand, please ask.
Yeah, procedure. That's where I don't understand.
Madam Chair.
Listen to
Yes.
Justice.
Yes. So, Madam Speaker and the House had the opportunity to refer this return bill to the Budget Committee. But we decided that it should be referred to the Committee of the whole House. So what we are doing now is as if the Budget Committee, in quotes, is sitting to receive from the Minister detailed justification. And then thereafter
Chaired by the Speaker.
Yes, chaired by the Speaker and report. So
Who is the chair now?
Yes, the Speaker is the chair. So there is no contradiction. The Minister of Finance right now should now come as if he's presenting to the Budget Committee and start telling us details of the reallocations one by one, and the House will interrogate us documents and take a decision, and then we'll come back.
Thank
Madam Chair, because what we are...
You are the shadow. Can you first hear from the main minister, then you come and respond? Let the Minister of Finance. But what are you going to debate before the... Honorable Minister. Honorable Member.
Madam Chair, I beg the indulgence of the House. Since I'm now presenting the same way we normally do in the Budget Committee, Madam Chair, on 16th of May, 2024, when Parliament considered the appropriations bill, we made a number of adjustments. And these adjustments were made, but the President was not satisfied, and as a result of that, he returned the bill for consideration and requested that the reallocated amounts by Parliament be reinstated. And I wish to take Parliament through the details of these numbers. Under vote,
Thank you very much. Madam Speaker,
Chair.
Honorable Mr. Statement, which he is reading, but it is not, we are not privy to the document. As members of Parliament, we're going to make a decision.
Where is your iPad?
I have it here, it is not there.
Give them to help
It's
you
not there.
operate it.
Maybe,
No.
Would
Give
it
the IT
be-
people to help you.
Madam, can
For the opportunity, I have listened to the Minister's preamble that the appropriation we did was not okay with the President in some areas. But Madam Chair, I want to remember that while at Kororo, during the budget speech day, the President, from his words, gave you a lot of praises as the Speaker, the Minister of Finance as the Minister, and Parliament as Parliament for the appropriation we did, which he was very happy with, and he said for the first time we made the budget which was pro-people. And all his statements are unanswered.
Honorable.
Are unanswered. So now, it was not happy with what we did, yet he gave us a lot of praises. He was very happy with the budget we passed. What happened? What went wrong?
Honorable members.
Of those on the handset without being
Honorable
happy.
member, addition in this budget, it is basically realignment in some departments, in some sectors.
on a procedure note, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair, the colleague from the NRM side knows that we are dealing with a president who is 80 years old. Is he in order not to know that old people keep forgetting?
On a procedure note, Madam Chair, I move. Madam Chair, on a procedure note, I move to inform this House on the procedure before us borders criminality. And it is a matter that is unprecedented all over the African continent. Right, Honorable Speaker, so Madam Chair, we are proceeding in a manner that convinces me as though we are covering up some of the people for the wrongs they did in this. I was convenient
Just a minute.
if we were to move
Honorable.
this business.
Doctor, do you want to say that returning a bill is criminal?
Madam Chair,
I want to
as
refer-
we speak, the budget committee is a crime scene.
Listen.
Members have been...
Can you sit down? Sit down. I want to refer you to article. Sit. I want to refer you to article 91(3). Open your constitution. That is the rules. 91(3).
Chair, we were moving very well, and the Minister of Finance was reading specifics. I want to pray that we allow the minister to read the specifics. We want to know where are the problems.
Dr.
We want to know
Wanika, you will not, Dr. Wanika, give me space.
Excuse me.
I'm reading to you.
I don't want you to read to me. Please. 91.3, the President shall within 30 days after a bill is presented to him or her, assent to the bill. 2, return the bill to Parliament within a requesting for a bill to be reconsidered. C, notify the Speaker in writing that he or she refuses to assent to the bill, which he has done. When you start talking and castigating a committee, that budget was not passed by a committee of budget alone. It was passed by this House. It was passed by this House. Please sit down.
Madam Speaker, Madam Chair.
I am saying sit down.
On the procedural matter,
My colleagues, I would like us to get clear to each other and fair to each other. When you call a budget committee a sin of crime and corrupt, let's come out clear. Who does what in the process of budgeting? A budget comes to the House. Allow me to speak, because you are speaking, I didn't interfere with you.
First allow.
Procedure, Madam.
First sit.
Okay, okay. Honorable colleagues, I've come through a chair.
It's okay.
So colleagues, the issue is simple. Let's remind ourselves the process of budgeting so that we point a finger and identify enemy correctly. So let's remind ourselves that a budget comes to the floor. When it comes to the floor, it's referred to sectoral committees, which sectoral committees interrogate the budget seriously with the entities responsible. The sectoral committees make reports to the floor, which floor debates the sectoral reports and recommendations and refers all of them to budget committee for harmonization, reconciliation, and make recommendations. Colleagues, we must all get informed that any recommendations made by budget committee are parts of the reports from the sector committees. And for your information, we started from the budget framework paper, which is budget framework paper recommendations were up to 20. Why don't you want me to bring this out? Why don't you want this to come clear? No, I'm not debating. I have not gone to the bill. I have a right to talk as a member. I have a right. Why? I will not sit down on your orders. I can't.
Honorable members.
Right,
Honorable members, Honorable Leon, allow the chair to finish. We are
all members. No. Why is it becoming bitter when we are bringing the issues clear? Now, colleagues, we start with the budget framework paper. And the process of recommendations, we capture recommendations for unfunded priorities. The unfunded priorities are presented by ministers. The ministers present a budget framework paper with recommendations to the sector committees.
Honorable Chair.
And the total for, right honorable, let's get it clear. The total for budget framework paper recommendations was about 23 trillion for unfunded priorities.
Honorable Chair.
Now, by the time the budget estimates came, again the same process and the recommendations, we shall come to that. Hold on first.
Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair. Chair. Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair. First give him to present.
Honorable Chair, I have heard the Honorable Chair budget.
Honorable Minister, can you give us justification? Honorable Minister, check your iPods. Members.
I wish, Madam Chair, I wish to present the justification for reinstating the funds that were reallocated by Parliament on the budget for financial year 2024-2025. And specifically, under vote 008, there was transfer to other government units, specifically capitalization of Uganda Development Bank, 30 billion. Our justification to reinstate this is that UDB is still undercapitalized. As at the end of December 2023, UDB's pipeline of approved projects was worth Uganda shillings 1 trillion to be invested in key priorities of wealth creation, agro-processing, value addition, manufacturing, tourism, and mineral beneficiation. It will also support youth-led enterprises, manufacturers, and provide working capital for exporters and those involved in import substitution. Another area of reduction was transfer to other government units, capitalization of agricultural credit facility, 20 billion. Our justification for reinstatement is that the agricultural credit facility is undercapitalized and yet is supporting the agro-industrialization program. The funds required to finance the approved pipeline loans at BOU amounting to 154 billion against the cash of Uganda shilling 79 billion. The agricultural credit facility extra account in Bank of Uganda is therefore in a deficit of Uganda shilling 74 billion. The agricultural credit facility supports agricultural projects to access patient capital for commercial, on-farm investment, post-harvest management, agro-processing, and trade in agricultural produce. We have, under Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development, there was an amount cut from liquefied petroleum gas supply and infrastructure intervention of 25 billion. And these funds are required to meet ongoing contractual obligations for liquefied petroleum gas, LPG, promotional kits, service providers, and other LPG interventions such as Hoima LPG storage terminal land. There is also 6.8 billion under Namanga thermal power, and these funds are required for capacity payments for the operations of Namanga thermal power plant for energy security. There is also 4 billion reduced from the mineral regulation infrastructure project, and these are funds required to commence establishment of mineral regulations and revenue collection infrastructure and implementation of the minerals law. These include way bridges and government-regulated markets for precious stones, etc. Under the same vote, Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development, there was a reduction of 15 billion from rural electrification and connectivity projects. These funds amounting to 15 billion. These funds are required to kickstart works on the major 7 construction roads, and the 7 roads include the following. Under batch 1 is the Eastern Service Territory, including West Budama South, Tororo South, and Tororo Municipality and Tororo District, Palisa County, and Gogonyo in Palisa District. Under Batch 2, still in the Eastern Service Territory, covers areas of Usiki in Namutumba, Bukoli South in Bujiri, Kamuli District, Kachumbara in Bukedea District, Mbale Northern Division, and Bungoko in Mbale District and Serere District. Road 3, Northwest Service Territory for Buyanja East in Chivale District, Bugangei South in Kakumiro District, Buhaguzi in Hoima City, Chikube, and Buyaga East in Kagadi District. Under Road 4 of West Nile, Central North, and North Service Territory for Ora area in Zombo, Guru Alinga South in Yumbe, Dokoro District, and Lira East in Lira District. West, South, and Southwestern Service Territory for Shema, Ruhinda in Mitoma, Isinjiro, Rubanda, Ibanda, and Soro districts. Western, Central, and Gwenzori Service Territory for Busongora North in Kasese, Fort Portal Central in Kabarore, Chankwanzi, and Bunyangabu districts. Central Service Territory for Bale in Kayunga, Mukono South in Mukono, Butambara, Bukoto East in Masaka, and Chiboga districts. In addition, Madam Chair, these funds are required to commence works of enhancing the SME framework priority interventions for small factories and cottage industries across the country. The SME's framework intervention is aimed at reducing the turnaround time for electricity connection to SMEs.
Board members, can you please listen so that you'll be able to debate? Isu.
We have the subvention under Ministry of Energy called Atomic Council for Council Expenses and Administrative Expenses. This was reduced by 10 billion, and these funds are required to meet staff and operational costs, including salaries, gratuity, rent for office premises, utilities such as water, electricity, security, and cleaning services. We have another subvention called distribution and land management, land acquisition. This was reduced by 10 billion, and the justification for reinstatement is that the energy transmission and distribution is a top priority of government, and these are funds to undertake projects aimed at transmitting energy from Karuma and substations. These funds are also required for compensation of project-affected persons for a number of projects, as well as to undertake critical feasibility studies aimed at increasing electricity transmission and distribution. The major projects include the 345 kilometers of Karuma-Tororo 400 kV transmission line and Ntinda substation for Namanve, residual compensation works for Karuma and Simba HPPs, Itanda and Karagara special conservation areas, and other projects for feasibility studies in generation, transmission, nuclear, and minerals. Under Directorate of Ethics and Integrity, Vote 112, on a sub-program called Ethics and Integrity, General Administration and Support, 5 billion was taken away, and our justification for returning it back is that the funds were allocated to strengthen the adjudication of Leadership Code Act. In addition, the funds are needed to publish the National Anti-Corruption Survey report on the perception and prevalence of corruption. The report affects the country's credit rating score internationally, which is a benchmark for our multinational, our multilateral partners. Vote 130, Treasury operations. Under commitment fees, 25 billion was taken away, and our justification to return it or reinstate it is that these are contractual obligations for the loans we have acquired for the implementation of key projects where we have not fully absorbed the funds. Therefore, the projections for the financial year 2024-25 are based on existing loan stock plus agreements that will be entered in the financial year 2024-2025. Under Code 242003, an item called Others, 300 billion was taken away, and these are funds for government obligations under the share subscription agreement in servicing local bills of exchange and payment of EFT bank charges to Bank of Uganda, among others. Under item 242002, interest on treasury bonds, an amount of 100 billion was taken away, and our justification for reinstatement is that we have increased government borrowing to cater for the priorities in the core agenda, and increase in domestic debt refinancing led to the increase in the interest on treasury bond issuances. In financial year 2024-25 budget, interest costs increased due to the increase in debt refinancing from Uganda shillings 8.36 trillion in financial year 2023-24 to Uganda shillings 12.02 trillion in financial year 2024-25, and an increase in net domestic borrowing from Uganda shillings 6.67 trillion in financial year 2023-24 to Uganda shillings 8.97 trillion in financial year 2024-2025. Under item of contingency transfers, an amount of 22.74 billion was taken away, and Madam Speaker, our justification for reinstatement is that Section 26 of the PFMA Act 2015, as amended, requires the contingencies fund to be allocated an amount equivalent to 0.5% of the appropriated annual budget for government of the previous financial year. As such, Uganda shillings 169 billion was provided for the financial year 2024-2025. Reducing the provision by Uganda shillings 22.74 billion implies a breach of the above PFMA requirement. Under 019, Ministry of Water and Environment, on a project called Integrated Water Resources, 4 billion was reallocated, and our justification to return it back is that Government of Uganda counterpart funding. This is Government of Uganda counterpart funding for World Bank financing of various urban water supply and sanitation systems in the towns of Busia, Mbale, and surrounding towns, Butaleja, Busorwe, Budaka, Kadama, Tirinyi, Chibuku, Namungarwe, Kaliro, Namasale, Koboko, Rukunjiri, Chejegwa, Mpala, Ruyonza, Kumi, among others. On a project called Support to Rural Water Supply and Sanitation, 10 billion was taken away, and the justification to return it back is that this is funding for the government interventions to increase access to safe and clean water through a source per village in rural areas. The specific interventions include the construction and rehabilitation of point water sources in the communities, expansion of dilapidated piped water supply systems, motorizing and upgrading of high-yield boreholes and solar-powered systems to expand and improve service coverage in various districts of Yumbe, Chankwanzi, Kakumiro, Mubende, Mitiana, Isinjiro, Bulisa, Kasese, Amudat, Agago, Kabong, among others. Under a project called Building Resilient Communities, Wetlands Ecosystems, and Associated Catchments in Uganda, an amount of 2 billion was reallocated. Our justification to return it back is that the funds are to facilitate ongoing interventions for the restoration of degraded ecosystems, including wetlands, riverbanks, and hillsides in the areas of Chigezi, Choga, Albertine, and central Uganda, including the promotion of alternative livelihoods to the communities. Under Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries, on a project called Improving Access to Use of Agricultural Equipment and Mechanization through the use of labor-saving technologies, 9 billion was taken away, and the justification for restatement is that all the funds on earth-moving equipment of Uganda shillings 23 billion in financial year 2023-24 were spent. The reason why they were taking away this, why we are saying this was spent, the reason for taking it away was under absorption.
Procedure.
The annual requirement for funding this key intervention is shillings 40 billion, and this will create a shortfall.
Procedure.
The funds are for procurement of heavy earth-moving equipment, tractors, and matching implements to support agro-processing and value addition. On a sub-program called Animal Resources, Entomology, 5 billion was reallocated, and this reduction leaves only 2 billion to this intervention, which is not sufficient. The funds are meant for the procurement of acaricides and operations of subvention for the control of trypanosomiasis and sleeping sickness. The budget cut will significantly affect the control of the tsetse flies, which will affect animal productivity and tourism, especially in the areas of Lake Mburo, Queen Elizabeth, since tsetse reduction activities are taking place in parks. Under a project called Development of Market-Oriented and Environmentally Sustainable Beef Industry, 10 billion was taken away, and the cut leaves no funds to this intervention, and failure to control animal diseases will affect the export volumes due to reduced production and quality. Under Ministry of ICT and National Guidance, on a project called under recurrent, 5 billion was taken away, and these are funds for development, upgrade, and maintenance of government systems, including business registration, record systems, etc. Under Ministry of Local Government, under workshops and seminars, 4 billion was taken away, and this resource is funding for PDM monitoring and sensitization activities. Monitoring of PDM activities will not be fully undertaken if this resource is not restated. Under advertising and publications, 4 billion was removed. Under consultancy services, 3 billion and 6 billion. Our justification for reinstatement is that as part of fiscal consolidation strategy, government is undertaking deliberate efforts to enhance domestic revenue mobilization, domestic revenue collection, both at central and local government levels. Part of the strategy is to improve revenue administration and specifically automation of collection and reconciliation processes in local governments to reduce leakages and enable real-time monitoring. This is funding for contractual obligations under local revenue collection systems. The planned rollout to 32 additional sites across the country will not be undertaken without this resource. Additionally, there is a possibility of litigation against government if this resource is not provided. Vote 015, Ministry of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives, under subvention called UDC, 20 billion was taken away, and our justification for reinstatement is that UDC is a government's key intervention agency for industrialization. The requirement for capitalization is Uganda shillings 407.33 billion for financial year 2024-2025, and is for investment in projects including National Marketing Company, Cassava Processing Factory, and Sangavet Chemical, among others. Under Vote 118, Uganda Road Fund. Under transfer to other government units, 40 billion was reallocated, and our justification for reinstatement is that government is faced with funding requirements of Uganda shillings 900 billion to address the road maintenance backlog. This cut will affect district and urban roads, including KCCA, therefore worsening existing road conditions. It will also affect the following interventions: Settlement of road maintenance debts carried forward from financial year 2023-24, reduction in much needed periodic maintenance of the paved national road network, and 3, cut back in the maintenance of bridges and culvert installations across the various rivers, streams, and swamps. Under Vote 104, Parliamentary Commission, transfer from development to recurrent, 8.93 billion. And Madam Speaker, our justification is that this is agreeable to Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, as the allocation was within the vote. In other words, it had no effect. Under Vote 143, Uganda Bureau of Statistics, under the item of travel inland, 10 billion was reallocated, and our justification for reinstatement is that these are funds for UBOS's key fieldwork activities, specifically for 1, post-census activities. After the census, the Bureau will update the population numbers up to the smallest administration unit, e.g. village. It must also undertake the post-enumeration survey, which is an international requirement to validate the coverage and accuracy of the census results. 2, production of labor market statistics as high frequency indicators.
Honorable members,
produce.
note down a vote that you want to ask. You want a clarification, and then you will get a clarification vote by vote.
Honorable Chair, under UBOS, I am reading number 2, production of labor market statistics as high frequency indicators produced on quarterly basis. This intervention was a response to the demand by government and in line with the NDP 3 target for UBOS to update the national employment indicators on a quarterly basis so as to advise policy action and employment and underemployment levels across the sector. The cut will therefore affect UBOS's capacity to undertake labor market surveys and production of required statistics. Under Vote 05, Guru Regional Referral Hospital, under a line item called pension and gratuity, 1 billion was reallocated, and our justification for reinstatement is that the vote had excess or unutilized pension worth 1 billion in financial year 2023-24. The vote therefore requested that these excess funds be reallocated to wage. This co-legenda request was approved in that regard and have pension funds reduced. Madam Speaker, in total, all these figures I have read, both recurrent and development, totals to 750.47 billion, which we seek this committee of the whole House to consider for reinstatement of where it was budgeted for originally.
Thank you so much. A specific vote that you need. Susan?
That we are useless actually. The budget should have not been brought. It should have been brought here for reading, and we shouldn't have put any input as parliament. So it is very disturbing. Right, Honorable Speaker, I think when the budget is brought here, it is sent to the committees for scrutiny. And it calls for our input as members of parliament. Information. Because we represent the people. But now if they are going to refuse what we have put as our input, why doesn't cabinet then read the budget without taking us into committees? Because we put a lot of effort and energy in this. I take the information from the other side. But meantime, Madam Speaker, the corrigenda came in the morning. We did not look at it. Whatever the minister is presenting here, there are very many new things like meat and what and so on. We did not have an opportunity as parliament to look at it. So it brings a problem of suspicion that they are smuggling in things, and we need this to be rectified here.
Honorable members, process. And can I hear from you? Where it is going?
Chair. Madam Chair, our understanding was that since...
Honorable members, I hope you all have the budget report. And in that budget report, it is there, you have it. It is in the... I want you to check table A and table B of the budget. Table A has where the money was removed, and table B has where the money went. Where there is a debit, there must be a corresponding credit.
Madam Chair, with that guidance, I have nothing useful to add.
Yes.
Madam Speaker,
you're going to
the minister has presented a list that was affected with the reallocation. Debating this with the letter of the president, and you need to go back to that letter. The letter is that you are tampering with priorities as parliament. And he listed, giving examples of roads. Madam Speaker, I want to speak a lot, but it will be fair to give the budget committee chair an opportunity. For example, the way the minister was reading here, many of my colleagues may not have picked. We have 300 billion that they are instating to Rocco, which is a private company. Private company. Remember, this parliament gave Rocco 270 billion. This is a private company. When you look at the priorities, Madam Speaker, I may not have, because we wrote a minority report, and I hope you'll give us time to make some reference to it. But the budget committee needs to refresh the mind, and this needs to go on record. Everybody must hear. The priority of the president is that you move money from ambulances. For me, I don't care which constituencies are benefiting. Mine is not, but I don't care. But the president is moving money from ambulances, money from regional referral hospital, to create 300 billion shilling for Rocco, a private company. In his earlier submission on Rocco, he said the justification is that Rocco was helping them when they were fighting in Ruwero. So this is the priority of the president. So I am requesting.
Honourable members.
I am requesting, Madam Speaker, my formal submission as a shadow minister.
Honourable members, I have not seen any justification written by the president on the Luero issues.
Information, Chair.
That is just from
I am just lending Parliament my memory.
It is hearsay.
Information.
Madam Speaker, you had given me the opportunity. I want to cede this opportunity to the chair to tell us where they had taken the money and what the president classifies as priorities. Then we can begin the debate from there.
Information. Chair, budget. Come.
Additional information. Question.
Procedure, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Chair.
Honourable Chair. Yes. First of all, I hope you have your schedule A and B.
Minister, he has given the justification, which personally I have no problem with.
Honorable Boalu, you're giving the chair 1 hour. When did you become a speaker?
Honorable colleagues, the first item, as I was explaining, that the submissions of the critical unfunded priorities, which of course the committee, which we are all aware is constituted of about 66 members, full members, and all chairs and vice chairpersons of the sector committees, they all form a budget committee. So we know that, but as a reminder, the first vote, we picked a priority, was vote number 1, Office of the President. 5 billion for maintenance of National Leadership Institute, Chankwanzi. Next was operational funds, 3.5, to facilitate project monitoring team of intelligence transport monitoring system under the vote 001. Vote 003, it was Office of Prime Minister. I'm going through all of them so that it gives us Minister of Karamoja Affairs, 8 billion. for iron sheets, maize seed, ox plows, oxygen, oxen. Sorry, I beg you. Oxen. Ministry Fluero Triangle, 2 billion. Support families for income generation projects. SDG monitoring, 3 billion for AIDS, SDG. Ministry of Defense, Veterinary Affairs, 50 billion, areas to National Housing and Construction Corporation. Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, 450 million for house rent for Principal Judge and Chief Justice. Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, subvention.
It was Deputy Chief Justice, not Chief Justice. Principal Judge and Deputy Chief Justice.
Okay. Ministry and Economic Development, 3 billion as a salvation for Enterprise Uganda.
Thank you, Chair. There is a confusion. Can I be protected, Chair?
Allow Aisha to...
I have been given way. There is confusion among us here. Some think that's where money went. Some think that's where money was cut from. Can you clarify? Is that where you cut money to reallocate elsewhere, or that's where you put money? That's the clarification we seek.
Honorable colleagues, what the minister was reading is where we cut money from. And that's what the minister had prayed we return it there. That's what the minister was submitting. I think it's self-explanatory, colleagues. I repeat, what the minister was submitting is where, in our report and allocation, is where money was cut from. What I'm now reading is where we put the money, is where we reinforced.
Clarification.
That's what I'm now reading.
Clarification on those two documents.
Honorable
Chair.
You see,
in the budget.
yeah, but
And
you see,
now, from budget it came to the House, it was approved, and that's where now it is being removed from. Not so.
yeah, but you see, Madam Chair, what the Honorable Aisha Kavana is asking, and Chair needs to clarify this. Before these reallocations are done, they first identify where money is, make a total, whether it is 1 trillion, whether it is 2 trillion, and then begin reallocating. So you may not, it's not automatic that money moved from coffee automatically goes to a road. You first make a total and then you...
And then, Honorable Chair, budget, also another clarification that you should make, that has been returned are not the same, which is a concern that was raised by a honorable member. When you look at your report, the recurrent budget, that is Annex A, Vote 001, Office of the President, it is allocating 259 billion. However, in the appropriation bill that was returned, it is 225. These two figures are not the same, and the same mistake is consistent with all these votes where some are low, others are high. For example, vote 143. Vote 143, which is Uganda Bureau of Statistics, it got an adjustment of 10 billion, as he rightly stated and as the minister rightly stated. And according to the report, it was to receive 134 billion, according to what we passed. But what is in the appropriation bill is not 134 billion to UBOS. Instead, it is 144 billion. So there is a difference between these two instruments that you need to clarify.
There's an order.
Chair, there is look at the recurrent and development. What is talking about now, when you add the figures, it brings out the total.
I'm showing the inconsistency in recurrent and recurrent. The recurrent in the appropriation bill, in the appropriation bill is not matching the recurrent in the report of the budget committee. So it's the clarification that we need.
You know,
The budget committee.
this is the last time
And the appropriation.
This is the last time you're speaking. How do you grab a microphone? There are so many people who want to speak.
I thought I was...
Thank you. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. In our rules, in Rules 86, when you're in that chair, Right Honorable Chair, everybody in this House is supposed to listen to you in silence.
Honorable members, listen to the member.
I'm saying,
If you're not understanding the English, Amero, you translate from that side.
Rules 86 commands everybody in this House that the chair, while in their seat, is supposed to be listened to in silence. And I'm asking all colleagues in this House, please, to pay attention to that rule. Now, having said that, Right Honorable Speaker, no one in this House has the power and authority to challenge your ruling. You have already ruled and given permission to an honorable colleague. At this point in time, I'm trying to ask everybody to please allow the honorable chair proceed, and then when he's done with his submission, then we'll be in a position to submit. Thank you.
Thank you.
I proceed. Okay, Minister of Agriculture was added 50 billion shillings for procurement of four-wheel tractors, planters, harrow, trailers. The House must note that the Minister of Agriculture budget had been reduced from mechanization from 145 billion to 80 billion. So we thought we should give additional 50 billion for the procurement of tractors. Minister of Local Government. Minister of Local Government, there was an allocation of 80 billion, an allocation of 8 billion for construction of 140 sub-county offices. And the colleagues, the idea was it needed about 16 billion as presented by the committee, but we thought maybe they can do it over 2 financial years. Construct them up to halfway and complete next financial year. Ministry of Education and Sports, grant aiding primary schools 2.5 billion, 38 primary schools as per the annex submitted by Education Committee. We have it in the annex in the report. The list, when you go to the report, it's there in the list. Honorable Chair, in case you have the report. Grant aiding secondary schools, 16.5 billion, 66 secondary schools as per the annex that was attached. All over the country. If you went to the report, there was an annex, there is an annex in the report. I don't have it here. The next one was for secondary school sports.
Honorable members, the annex was in the report. And remember, this is a report of the committee, of the previous committee.
Which was uploaded.
It was uploaded.
It was uploaded on the iPad.
Can you finish?
City schools, 10 billion. to construct 13 city schools under UGIF.
You cannot seek clarification on what the House already adopted. They're in your village.
Yeah, in your iPad. Okay. There is subvention 900 million to cater for salaries and other employee costs for Uganda Allied Health Examinations Board. Uganda Nurses Midwives Examinations Board, 2 billion for monitoring nurses and midwives. Ministry of Health. We realized that a number of constituencies didn't have ambulances, others had been given ambulances. So there was a need for 154 ambulances. The committee, due to smaller resources, said let's buy half, 77 ambulances, and had allocated 27 billion to procure ambulances through Ministry of Health. Again, the ambulances colleagues, much as they are allocated to constituencies, there is a challenge of fuel and maintenance costs. And the ministry indicated that they needed money to operate a system, a card system, where each ambulance is allocated funds monthly, direct to operate the ambulance. So we had allocated 17 billion for fuel and maintenance of ambulances. Uganda Red Cross was allocated 2 billion. Honorable colleagues, they were informed that there are a number of health centers government started to construct, and they are not yet complete and operationalized. So the committee thought that for this coming financial year, let those health centers be completed and operationalized. And we had allocated 26 billion for that, which is supposed, of course, you know who is supposed to construct them. The construction is done by the brigade, UPDF brigade. Ministry of Works and Transport. Ministry of Works and Transport force account had been increased, allocated 15 billion additional, only 15 years, for Duka roads. We had also, colleagues, you realize that government now underworks the road safety, licensing, and revenue collection from licensing vehicles is under Ministry of Works, which will collect the revenue, a transfer from URA. So we allocated 2 billion for licensing, sensitization, and registration of vehicles. 15 billion to have a one-stop center to offer general services like driving license and registration of vehicles. 2 billion for these people to recruit to staff, company which they are now doing. So they must have staff to do the work. Colleagues, also 2 billion had been allocated. 2 billion had been allocated for Ministry of Works to give services at the ports of Mombasa and Dar es Salaam, so that they deploy staff there for easy registration of vehicles. And 3 billion for operationalization of inspection services, which were placed under SGS. National Building Review Board, 10 billion. Low-cost seal, 20 billion. Bridges, 3 billion. Community roads improvement, what they call interconnectivity, 33 billion. And then Mount Elgon level-based Infrastructure Development, 5 billion. Minister of Gender. Minister of Gender. National Women's Council. National Women's Council was added 3 billion. Support to youth. Construction equipment for youth, 1.2. Rehabilitation of ministry institutions, child rehabilitation centers, 2 billion. At a cultural gala, which is going to take place in Kidepo 2024 gala, 400 million. Jama Fest 2024 in South Sudan, 400 million. Funding to support Grow project, 500 million. Withdraw, rehabilitate, and settle street children was added 500 million. Special enterprise grant for older persons, 2 billion. Juakali Enterprises, 5 billion. Kireka Rehabilitation Center, the refurbishment, 460 million. Yeah. Minister of Water and Environment. The support to rural water project source per village. Source per village was added 14.5 billion. Strategic towns water supply and sanitation, 3 billion. Investing in forest and protected areas for climate smart development project 1613, additional 2 billion. Service coverage, accelerated project, SCAP umbrella project, 15 billion. Project 1524, Water and Sanitation Development Facility East, 6 billion. Subversion to National Water and Sewerage Corporation, 1 billion. Minister of Tourism. Minister of Tourism, subvention to Wildlife Authority, 900 million. To construct 15 kilometers electric fence. Subvention Uganda Wildlife Authority, 90 billion for compensation for damages due to human-wildlife conflicts and park accidents. Subvention to Uganda Wildlife Research Training Institute to construct a girls' hostel, 4 billion. IGG was added 6.6. $1.7 digitalization, 4.8 for recruitment of staff, and 1 billion for staff training. Parliamentary Commission, the 8.9 are reallocated from capital to recurrent to cater for medical insurance for MPs, 8.97. Uganda National Roads Authority, UNRA. Feasibility studies for Chabakuza, 1 billion. Feasibility study Singiro, Ekitia, 1 billion. Kampala City Authority, 10 billion for mechanized drainage and distilling of channels. Ministry of Kampala City Council, City Authority, beg your pardon, and Metropolitan Affairs, 5 billion as counter funding for restoration affected properties. Equal Opportunities Commission, 1 billion. National Information Technology Authority, 20 billion to offset domestic areas owed to Solito del Marca for management and commercialization of NBI. Uganda National Examinations Board, 6.5 for assessing the new lower secondary school curriculum and the continuous assessment. You are aware that the curriculum was changed, but no additional funding for them to UNEB for conducting transitional examinations. You are aware that there are those who are going to repeat. They have to give another exam, but no funds are allocated. 6.5, securing accommodation for the markers. To conduct field activities of examinations, 8.5, and retrain examiners. Colleagues, get to know that UNEB, according to what we got from the sector, after change of the curriculum, the teachers were not retooled properly. And now UNEB had to take up that task. And they are moving around trying to train teachers so that they prepare the students, the candidates, to meet the task of a coming exam. Financial Intelligence Authority was allocated 4 billion. Office of Auditor General to recruit staff, 3 billion. Operational fund shortfall, their money was cut by 30 billion, and that would make the work of Auditor General very difficult. And perception survey, Auditor General is supposed to perform a role of independent administrator for EITI, and to audit missions abroad, 1.7. DPP, recurrent budget to cover wage, to recruit staff, the attorneys to support the justice system. Witness preparation and protection, 3 billion. Procurement of motor vehicles, 2 billion. Uganda Police Force, CID. You recall, colleagues, on this floor, there was a resolution made here to support the CID. And such, there was even a resolution here, they must have their own vote. And I want to confirm to you, I visited the CID recently on witness summons. I would like to confirm, colleagues, there is some high degree of professionalism now in the CID's office. $8 billion to CID. Uganda Prison Service, 4 billion for extension of Kitwe Prison Facility in Gomba. Public Service Commission, 130 million to assist to procure some devices for PWDs. Yes, this is just a device of PWDs. PPDA, 3 billion to expand scope of the procurement audits from 40% to at least 60%. As of today, the funds available, they manage to do only 40% procurement audit. So if this money is added, they can rise at least to 60%. Uganda National Bureau of Standards, field activities for certification in testing, standard development, verification of equipment, and enforcement of standards, 4 billion. Wage shortfall for Uganda Bureau of Standards, 2 billion. ISO, to facilitate internal intelligence collection, 20 billion. ESO, 7 billion. ESO again to construct ESO headquarters, because it's believed where they are located is not secure enough. So to construct 31 billion. National Council of Sports, 10 billion to support associations, and 2.5 billion to support the design and redevelopment of Uganda Golf Club at Kitante. Makerere University, Gender Equality Program Project, 1.2 billion. Uganda Tourism Board was given 1.8 billion. National Citizenship and Immigration Control, 10 billion shillings for border posts and technology and so on. National Animal Generic Resource Center, NAGRIC, additional 10 billion. This one I only want to clear, to kick-start a demonstration farm in Bukedia district. That one, yes. I come from there also. That is my district, honorable colleagues. Mbale, vote 410, Mbale Regional Referral Hospital has been struggling to construct a surgical complex for about 5 years. It's not going far. And they need 5 billion to complete it. And that was allocated. Mbale region covers a big area up to Balis, up to Bukede, up to Uganda Business and Technical Exam, UBUTEP, 4 billion. Uganda Microfinance Regulation Authority, 3 billion. Uganda Export Promotions Board, in order to participate in Expo 2025 Osaka, 4 billion. Kisoro District. Kisoro District was allocated 2 billion for construction of Kanyamateke Bridge. 1.3 billion for Kanyamateke Bridge. And rehabilitation of Buhozi Health Center, 350 million. And Nyarusizi Health Center, 350 million. Entebbe Regional Referral Hospital, ever since that hospital was upgraded from a district hospital to a regional referral hospital, the budget stayed constant. So we had allocated additional 3 billion to Entebbe Regional Referral Hospital. Uganda Consulate in Kenya, Mombasa, they are supposed to hosting of Uganda-Kenya Coast Tourism Conference Center in Kampala, November 2024. We had allocated 1 billion. Mbarara City, vote 609 in Mbarara City, had been allocated for construction of Katete Bridge in Mbarara City. That is going to connect Singiro and others, 5.2 billion. St. Helen Primary School refurbishment, 100 million. Kakoba Muslim Primary School, 100 million. Kayaga Primary School, 100. Nyamitanga Secondary School, 100 million. And Nyamitiobora Health Center, 2, 400 million. Shema Municipal Council. Shema Municipal Council.
Honorable Sechi.
Colleagues, I'm about to complete. 1.6 billion was added for completion of rehabilitation of Kabuohe Health Center 4. That one was 600 million. And market development infrastructure of 400 million. And SMC headquarters, 600 million. Buhweju District. Completion of St. Anthony Kakade Seed School, 500 million. Bulambuli District. Bulambuli District for construction of climbing ladders for school-going children. Colleagues, you have seen on WhatsApp, the children in Bulambuli, a place called Soti, have to access school through ladders to reach the higher level, but they have been using kalitusi to make ladders. So we are informed if we don't reinforce and they put the proper ladders, one day children, the ladder will break and the children will die. So 1.5 billion. Then to improve Buluganya Health Center 4, 1.5 billion. Bulago SCS 300 million. St. Peter Clever Muyembe 700 million. Bushenyi District. Bushenyi District for construction of playground at Bumbaire sub-county to be utilized for various school activities, for talent identification and growth of child, 450 million. Luego District 1.1 billion for health center 3 maternity ward completion at Busibo, and Kaboyo Primary School 200 million, Katuro, Rebogo, Health Center 3, Chazanga Town Council Market. Mitoma District 6.2 billion for completion of an ongoing project by UPDF at Roburunga Seed School, 600 million. The Tereko Skills Development Center, 1.6 billion. Kigende Health Center 3, 1.5 billion. The Tereko Health Center 4, 600 million. Kigende Seed School 600 million. And Rutoche Health Center 4, 1.6. Mubende District rehabilitation of a school, Kasambia Das 500 million. Nabila Tuku District, Nabila Tuku, St. Kizito SS roofing and fencing, 480 million. Construction of classroom block at Locapelle Junction Primary School, 400 million. Maternity ward at Sakale Health Center 2, 300 million. Colleagues, that is the amount. That's where we allocated those funds. Those funds
Honorable members,
which were picked from there.
honorable members, can we listen? Honorable members, can we first have, let's sit. Honorable Chair, now that you have told us where the money is coming from, where it is supposed to be, where it was proposed to be.
Yes.
What is your opinion on reallocation?
Okay. Right, Honorable.
On the President's letter for and request for national interest.
Honorable.
Honorable members, listen.
Colleagues,
Linda.
allow me say, we did all of this for the good of the country and in good faith. We did it in good faith. Now that the bill has been returned with a lot of language, whereby if you listened to the speech, a presentation by PSST recently, he made it clear that Parliament tampered with the budget, and that tampering is going to affect service delivery. That tampering is going to lead to supplementary budgets. And sincerely, in the interest of our country, none of us is happy to see figures. You start then a supplementary budget and so on. So, with that commitment given, and the HE giving that there are priorities, of course, which priorities the government is interested in, and also given that they commit to stick to the budget.
Listen.
I therefore concede to the reallocations.
Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Information, Madam Chair.